What's happening, Facebook, man? It's your boy Country in the building. This is Souf Got Something to Say, episode 153. Let's get it. What it do, man? It's your boy Country coming live from the Souf Got Something to Say, episode 153. What it is, though?
What's happening? It's your boy DJ Big Dream, the Dirty 30 representative, baby. We in here.
And this is the heavenly orchestrated, never duplicated lyrical symphony known as the Eternal One Eternity, holding it down for the South. Yeah. What happening, people? Y'all good? Everybody good?
Yeah, we great, man.
Everybody's great. Good. And today we have a very special guest on the couch with us. We have Ms. Ariel Bryant, who has been working as a therapist since 2017. During the pandemic, she chose to go virtual only, but she majored in psychology with a minor in family studies at Central Michigan University, which led her to marriage and family therapy for her graduate degree at the University of Southern Mississippi. So welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
And definitely a friend of the show.
Mm-hmm.
You've been a friend of the show for a while now.
For a long time. We appreciate you for tuning in.
Of course. I've been watching the nonsense. It's fun.
It's definitely some nonsense going on.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit more about yourself, if you will, kind of what you do and what expertise you're going to be able to bring to our topics at hand today.
Okay, so technically I'm a marriage and family therapist. A little bit different. So there's lots of different types of therapists. Most people get it confused. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not a licensed professional counselor. I'm a marriage and family therapist specifically. There we go. So it's very contextual based. The way I look at it is there's no problems in the individual person. It's the relationships they build with the world around them that I'm diagnosing and helping fix. Y'all are perfect the way you are. But what you're doing in the situation isn't working. Mm-hmm. So let's change that.
So you sit down with married couples on that?
I work with kids, with couples, with adults, with families, with anybody.
Oh, family. So that's the family part, like kids, parents,
I can work with whoever. Ooh. But most therapists aren't trained to work with more than one person in the room. Mm. So marriage and family therapists, we are. Almost all of my training before I got fully licensed was with multiple people in the room. So I'm good with all y'all.
Is that difficult to navigate? I feel like it's a lot to keep track of.
It can be. At one point, I had about 60 clients on my caseload, and I not only had to know all of their names and history, I had to know their spouses, their kids, their pets, their grandma, whoever was important to them, I had to keep track of.
I'd rather go to hell.
I mean, I could not see that coming in any moment before I knew he was going to say something ignorant.
Mm-hmm.
You knew it was coming.
I had to write notes, bro. I'm in the customer service business. I don't know them motherfuckers, man.
Bro, wait a minute. God, the F word out the gate.
What?
I don't know the motherfuckers, man. So I be like boss man and boss lady.
I mean, I do the same because, like, I mean, you know me. I ain't saved salespeople number to my phone. Saved 6 months in.
Yeah, I don't be trying to know these folks, bro.
I mean, but I can, like, if I put the effort in, I can remember names. Mm-hmm. I can remember facts.
But why?
I can remember, like, so, bro, I'm gonna tell you. I'm a claims adjuster now. I ain't in the car business no more, so I have to deal with it. And all my claims are claimants, meaning they're not paying the company I work for.
Right.
They was affected by somebody that is paying the company I work for.
Gotcha.
So they're all upset, and it's stuff that happened to them.
Right.
Right. So it helps to remember a name, a condition, or something when you're talking to them. Yeah. For example, I had a lady who, when I called them, was in the hospital actively. Mm-hmm. And she was like, "No, it's not a good time. Can you call me back in like a week?" I was like, "Sure thing." First thing I did when that week came up, I was like, "Hey, Miss So-and-so, hope everything's going well. I know last time I spoke to you in the hospital, how did your surgery go, that kind of stuff." Mm-hmm. It lowers the gate. Mm-hmm. Because I'm about to hit you with this estimate with depreciation on it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, so our estimates don't be bad. Everybody be like, "Oh, man, insurance companies are crooks. They don't want to give you your money." It's true for now. Maybe in the car industry, on that side of the things, it's a little different because it's so subjective. It's the way that it works off the market, and the market changes so much. So, for example, if you looked at your car this month and your car was worth $20,000, and next month it may be worth 16 grand.
Right.
Because the market adjusted.
Because the market adjusted, right? And people feel like they're getting took because it adjusts so much and so rapidly. Versus on property side, what I do, it doesn't adjust as rapidly, but we take something called appreciation. So like, if you got a mailbox, and that mailbox been there for 30 years, and it's a wood post regular ass mailbox, we taking 70% appreciation. So if it costs $250 to put that mailbox up, I'm about to offer you a smooth 120 because your mailbox is supposed to be replaced anyway. Although it wasn't damaged, although it was serving its purpose, that's just not how stuff works. Like, yeah, it worked, but how and what condition was your mailbox in? Because we're giving you money to buy a brand new one. It's not going to be in that condition, and that's kind of the way like people feel like we be cheating them and whatnot. So lowering those gates before you have that conversation helps out a lot because yeah, you got some appreciation going on.
Yeah, most people don't really want to talk to me. They already guarded. This is usually the last resort. They've tried dealing with it on their own for a very long time before they came to talk to a stranger and spill their guts. And they don't know what I'm going to do. They don't know what I'm going to say, especially when there's more than one person in the room. They're worried I'm going to take somebody's side. So, yeah, it's uncomfortable for everybody.
How hard is it not to take somebody's side?
It's
Even when you
not
know
hard.
they right.
It's usually not hard, but there have been a couple. There have been a couple where I've gotten off the call and the media was like, that one was wrong. That one was real wrong. But it's not common, actually. Because the way I look at it is, and I say this a lot, I don't know, you probably heard me say it before, everybody's doing the best they can with what they think they have in the moment. So my job is to understand your point of view, not to judge you, but to make it make sense so I can help you figure out what you was trying to do better.
Right.
So there's no reason to judge. I'm assuming you was doing what you was doing because it worked at one point or because it was all you knew to do. Why would I take
No,
the side against
I
that?
understand that. I definitely understand. So how often do you do in-person meetings?
I don't do them anymore at all
So since COVID, no more.
since COVID. Yeah.
Is it ever going to go back to that?
People have gone back to in person for sure. I just haven't.
Are you choosing that?
Yeah, I chose to stay online.
Okay. All right. So, like, let me ask: do you run your own practice? You work for like a company? You work for BetterHelp?
I do work for BetterHelp. So
Get out of here!
Yeah, so you're gonna end up getting all of the ads now because I swear every time I say their name, an ad pops up. It happened.
Well, they
on the
pop
way
up
over
for
here.
me
Yeah, it
anyway,
did.
because I actually tried to use BetterHelp when I lost my therapist. So when I changed job, my insurance changed. My therapist no longer took my new insurance, and like they refused to.
Right.
So I had to find a new therapist, and I ain't used therapists in a while now. But when at the time, I had to switch therapists. I remember telling Dream about this while we was at Encore, and I went to BetterHelp and was trying to like pick out like the perfect person.
Yeah.
And like everybody they offered to me, I just didn't vibe with.
That's fair.
I ended up going a different direction. But and I wasn't looking for somebody who I felt like was gonna agree with me. I was looking for somebody who would understand my life experience.
That's fair. Yeah, so when I started doing virtual, I was actually working in community mental health up in Michigan, and then being virtual allowed me to move. So that's when I ended up moving to Mississippi again for the second time and started with BetterHelp. And then just recently, like within the last 6 months, I took on another company as well. So I'm an independent contractor. I can work with multiple different businesses. So I work with BetterHelp part-time, and I work with another company called Phoenix Rising Center part-time.
Okay, that's what's up. Do you deal with more families or more marriages?
More individuals, honestly, right now.
Oh, I thought you. So
I can
you do
anybody.
individuals?
I literally can talk to anybody. When I first started, I worked with kids under the age of 18. All of them were in foster care. All of them were in residential facility.
Rough.
All of them had trauma, abuse, neglect, and they were all right there against their will. So, ain't nothing like talking to an 8-year-old who don't want to be bothered. I'll take all the families all day.
Really?
All day. All day.
And then so in a situation like that, because we know kids can be stubborn, adults can be stubborn too.
Yeah.
But I think once you kind of break down an adult's barrier, at least they'll start to open up.
They have choice.
Yeah. But if a kid don't want to talk, a kid's not gonna talk.
Played a lot of Uno.
So that's what I was about to ask. What do you do in a situation where you've got a 50-minute session that you have to fulfill, but we're getting nowhere because our client doesn't want to
Like
talk.
overtime to me.
A lot of flexibility. Oh, overtime. You're funny. That wasn't happening.
Don't worry, we don't know what overtime. Well, we know what overtime is. We just don't get it.
Yeah. Nah, I had on call. It was not overtime, but it was a lot of walks outside. There was a lot of sitting in kids' bedrooms with them. It was a lot of sitting on the floor, a lot of Uno, a lot of coloring, a lot of sitting in doorways while they threw tantrums. It was a lot of 3 a.m.s, getting out of bed because a kid had to do a psych eval and somebody had to go with them. It was absolute chaos. I have been physically assaulted multiple times by children.
Really? So I've
But
watched.
only by
I
children.
don't know if you watch much TV,
I
but
can't do it. I fucking
it's one of my favorite
And
shows.
number two.
One of my favorite. One of my favorite shows is one of my favorite shows was New Amsterdam. I finished it. You ever seen New Amsterdam?
No.
I saw the therapist on there is played by a well-known actor, and he kills it. Like he makes it feel like he's a great therapist.
I might have to check that out because
And-
every single therapist I've ever seen on every show has been extremely unethical.
Oh, he is. So he's gonna fall. He's gonna
Okay.
fall right into that.
Every single one.
He gets in a lot of trouble for ethics, but like he cared, and that's what made me like him a lot, right? Like he took the kids, like, and he dealt with like little kids up into adults for the most part, but like he took a different approach. He actually spent the time with the people to understand people, and that's what caused him to open up. And I really feel like they fleshed that out pretty good in the show. And his character was a really well written character. He was a gay married man. So, and it starts that way. Like you don't see the lead in, and I'm into later into the series. You don't see the lead in and stuff, but it starts
just
that
a
way.
person.
He got 3 adopted kids. You know what I'm saying? And like the way his character is portrayed is really good. And then you see his breakdowns and the way he was dealing with relationship issues, the way that stuff worked. It was like really greatly wrote. He's one of my favorite characters from show. So yeah, you probably should definitely check it out. And I'm like you said, he does do unethical stuff because he gets in a lot of trouble.
So much unethical stuff in every single one I've ever seen.
So don't incriminate yourself. But have you ever done anything unethical? Perfect answer.
Hey, I got a great question from you from Nathan Haynes. Shout out Nathan Haynes for logging into the podcast. He asks, do you feel like the impact of counseling changes when it's virtual versus face-to-face? I'm in the process of looking for a counselor and most are still doing virtual.
Yeah, I don't think it changes.
So do you think you can still have the same impact on that person from a video than you did if you was there in person?
100%. So not all of my
That's your answer, bro.
sessions are actually video. Some of my, especially with BetterHelp, there are some clients I've never seen their face. They've only done phone calls. There are a couple I used to have, less now, that only did chats. I've never heard their voice. But we've made progress. We made a lot of progress. It's the relationship you build that makes a difference. And so if somebody's actually invested in the process and they're willing to do it and be honest about it, you can make a really big impact. And honestly, I've always worked with people in their home environment. So the kids I worked with before, like I said, they were in residential. When I left that job, it was community mental health, and I went to people's homes. So I was driving to see them. People feel more comfortable on their own couch or in their own bedroom in their pajamas than they do having to dress up and be appropriate, drive to the office, sit in a waiting room with whoever else in the room. It's a little bit easier for me to be like, okay, relax. Get your snack, get your water, get comfortable. That's what we're going to do here. I want you to be as comfortable as you can be. And that's a good spot for most people.
Yeah. So all my therapy sessions has been over the phone. I've never had a video therapy session. All mine has been phone conversation.
Really?
Like legit. You didn't even know it. We was working together, and my alarm would go off, and I walk out the office on my phone. It'd be 15 minutes.
I thought you went to the crazy home every Sunday.
No.
My dog.
All of my
Little crazy,
so
not big crazy.
most of my sessions were in person,
Right.
but it was in an environment exactly what you just described. It was going in so the only good thing about mine is that my waiting room was never that full because I I always caught a session right after their lunch, coming back. So it'd be like 2 people. You know, it's normally me and whoever they scheduled for right after that. Right. We'd go to our different rooms. Now, when I came out, it was probably 5-6 people in the waiting room. Mm-hmm. But you know, you are there, and I mean, it's just you go in. It's like timer start. Boop, 50 minutes. All right, we done. You know what I'm saying? Off to the next, and it. I had maybe 3 Zoom sessions. And I think because I started in person, I preferred in person because that's what I had gotten comfortable with.
Right.
But in addition to what you said, I think it's also the relationship that you build. So from whichever ground floor you start at, if you continue to build from that ground floor and that foundation that you establish, whether it be over the phone, whether it be through text, whether it be through, you know, video call, or whether it be in person, that is what you're going to get the most comfortable with.
Yeah. I like to tell people up front, especially on that platform, you can use any of the options. If you schedule a video session and decide today's the day I need to go wander around while we talk, I got to do laundry, I can't sit still when I talk about this particular topic, go and put it on a phone call. Wander. If it's gonna help you get your words out, do what you got to do.
I'm a pacer, so
that makes sense.
That's what made phone calls work for me. I pace.
But then there are people like over the holidays, super stressful time, and they're like, I need to have this session, but I can't talk about this out loud. So they'll go find a corner and do a chat instead. And it's like texting somebody. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yeah, do that. I would much rather you do that than stay stressed for longer periods of time. For what? People stay unhappy and uncomfortable for way too long. Way too long. I don't like it.
I got a question.
Yes.
So what do you do about your mental health?
Every therapist you've ever met has a therapist.
Oh, really?
Every single one of them. And if they don't have one currently, they've had one recently.
Really? So you see a therapist just...
I just stopped. But yeah, it's very common. Plus, it's it's a little unfair. Several of my friends are also therapists. So we'll chat with each other and like, okay, look, this is a friend conversation, or I need a consultation. Like I need to talk about this with another professional, or my best friend is one, and I'll tell her like, look, truth, like therapist truth, and she'll sit down and be like, you're wrong. You need to do something about that. Your boundaries are absolute trash right now. Fix it. I was like, okay, now back to best friend. I love you and you're perfect. It's great.
I mean, I was just curious though, because like, and this may not be a true statistic, but I remember at one point it was like therapists was like one of the highest suicide rates in the world.
It's that, dentists and vets.
Yeah, it was like
That's an interesting
group.
Yeah.
I mean, bro, trauma is different, bro. Like, really think about it.
Therapy, but you know what? Honestly, therapists, I can understand.
I can understand therapy
because if you were a therapist that is also an empath, that's a whole lot of darkness that you take in, and then you have to consistently be able to shed that. Because if you don't, now you're dealing with their problems and yours. And all of that sitting on your spirit. That is... Whew. Now, the dentist and the vet thing...
Well...
I can see the vet thing, man.
That makes sense because you're consistently putting down animals, beloved animals, and people are
I get that.
Their distressed pets
I get
die. And then with dentists, who likes the dentist? Every person you meet can't stand you. And there's a very high possibility of being sued. Like
very high possibility.
Very high possibility. Everybody you meet don't like you. I mean, it's a lot easier doing what I do now because I deal with a lot less consistent trauma, and because it's not in person, like I'm not witnessing it right in front of me. Like I'm not gonna walk in on somebody who's actively cutting like I could have before. That helps.
Yeah, that does help.
That helps.
I bet. So I like me personally, I think about it from my perspective. It's like, so me myself, I don't care about a lot of stuff because I can't, right? This is conversations I've had before. I don't care about a lot of stuff because I can't, because I care too much normally.
Exactly.
Right? So
I care a lot and not at all is something every single one of my clients have heard me say.
yeah. Like, I care about, like, humanity in general. Not race, not nothing. Like, humanity in general, like, being good people, being, you know what I'm saying? I hate to see people struggling. I carry that weight. And I have to make myself not care because I care too much. Yeah. So, a lot of stuff I do, I'll be like, yep, don't care about it. In my head, yep, don't care about that. Throw that out. And I will. I would not be able to listen to people on a daily basis go through rough life and be able to throw it all out. My mind wouldn't let me throw it all out.
I care about things that are in my bubble. And for this 45 minutes to an hour, you are my bubble. It ain't about me, it's only about you.
Soon as that time up, you pop that bubble.
As soon as that time is up, it's on to the next. And I set my time up that I do 45 minutes to 50-minute sessions, but I have this buffer time in between. In between every session, I do self-care. And then there's like a 2-hour break that I set aside in the middle of all of my days. I don't work more than 3 days in a row on purpose because I need that recovery time.
Yeah, that's, I was curious because that's, like, I know that I couldn't carry a lot. Like, even now, I hear a story of working in claims. Hear a story about somebody, what they're going through. They be going through rough stuff. And I'll be like, all right, don't care because this is, like, you got to do your job properly. And I'm great at that, right? Great at that, being able to switch between the two. But, like, after so long, I feel that weight. And that's why I was like, man, I couldn't be a therapist because...
And that's why we all have therapists, because we feel the same thing.
I cannot go, like how you said you work no more than 3 days in a row?
Yeah. But I was working 12-hour days.
Every person you deal with got trauma. Mm-hmm. So after one day of that, look, I'll be done.
Hey,
done.
Just to give you some official stats.
Okay.
Therapists ain't none of the top 10s of suicide rates because they're actually normally smarter than all the people who keep killing themselves. It's shocking that dentists and veterinarians is in the top 5 of every list. All the lists have changed since I went through it because y'all left law enforcement out. They're the top dog. They always been one of the top dogs. But guess who them are one on almost every list? Doctors.
Oh yeah, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
For the same
I was going to say for the same reason that
It's insane to me.
Physical trauma that they're seeing.
Doctors are number 1 on most of the list, but dentists are number 2 on most of the list. Blows my mind. What is it about looking at a person in the mouth make you blow your brains out? And I'm gonna tell you a story, and I'm gonna tell you a story because I've actually personally witnessed it. Dr. Rice and Atmore, they used to be right behind my family house. Since he's right behind my family house, I went to him because I can walk there. Right. A lot of times you do stuff they don't want you to drive,
right? So
I could just walk home because literally his backyard is my backyard. You know what I'm saying? And I went to him to have a root canal done, and that night he blew his brains out. And you would think they had a good life, and it ain't as hard as
they make great money.
Yeah, but the amount of debt that they're consistently in, the amount of pressure,
it blows my mind that a dentist is high up there. But after dentists, and this one of the lists that seemed to be the best one of all, I've seen like 10 lists that quick. Law enforcement is right after that. But then veterinarians are there. What is it about pets that make you kill yourself?
It's not about the pets. It's about what they have to see. They're seeing pets hurt. They're seeing pets dying. They're seeing people abandon them. They're seeing trauma on an animal that can't communicate and people abandoning them in their last hours.
And then they kill themselves?
When you watch death all day,
bro, I see that in the hood all day.
Not like that.
But you're not responsible for it.
But even so, in the hood, you see in the worst hoods, bro, you may see 5 deaths, 10 deaths in your lifetime. In the worstest hoods,
I seen more than that at the Chickadee. At one place. Fuck you talking about?
So you seen 10 people die in real time?
You said 5 to 10. I've seen over more than 5 people die just at the blocks.
All right, so now imagine a veterinarian who works in a major city, like let's say Atlanta. He's a main veterinarian, and you doing 4 or 5 euthanisms today, or you
don't even know what that is.
I mean, when you kill a dog, you have to put this dog down. 1, he's too sick to live, and you're doing him a favor, but it still fucking hurts. And then 2, forgive me for my language. 2, you got dogs that you just can't have home for, and they've been in your clinic for so long. You hoping somebody come get them, and you can't.
Yep, nothing wrong with them. But
that's what happened with my last dog.
Me personally, I think it takes a special person then.
Yeah.
Because I most definitely care more about humans than I do animals.
For sure. I mean, and I'm sure they do too.
I'm not saying that from a negative spot. And I've seen a lot of brothers die that shouldn't have been dead, and I still want to sleep that night.
I understand. I completely agree, Dream. I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying.
We just one of the disagreements. We was having.
I'm not.
I think the difference is when it's at your own hand. Like a lot of veterinarians are the ones that metaphorically pull that trigger, and they don't want to have to be. You know, it's a different thing to witness somebody has passed, or even somebody you cared about has passed, and that hurts. But it's different to be the one that decided that's what was going to happen that day.
I went through this like 2 years ago. Saint, my dog Saint had didn't really pay. There wasn't a whole lot of change in her demeanor, nothing like that. But I noticed she wasn't jumping as much as she used to. I take her to the vet. She got kidney stones. One of them was the size of my palm. Had to pay $2,000 for surgery. Removed them. But after that, she never was recovering. She had a cone on. She had a cone on. You know what I mean? Like, but she wouldn't eat. She basically was trying to kill herself. Yeah. And take her back to the doctor. I was at work.
I remember that.
I was at work, and Danae called me, just crying. I get there, and they basically was like, "You could try to have emergency surgery, but it's gonna be $5 to $6 grand." Or, the humane thing to do. I'm gonna be honest, it seemed like she's trying to kill herself. I will put her to sleep. That is a hard decision to make for somebody that is. I understand you say you care more about humans than you care about pets. But for somebody like myself that doesn't have children,
that's your kid.
Our pets become like our kids. It's like your broke best friend. They super loyal. They always want to be around you. They always want to hang with you. They can sense when you sad. They can sense when you angry. They can sense when you, happy, all of that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And when you done spent 7-8 years attached to a pet that follow you everywhere, and you done, fed them and raised them in the whole nine, and then you just like that, you got to decide to take their life. And the craziest thing about it, so Danae left, but I stayed in the room because I didn't want her to feel alone. But the coldest thing, man, is to have them on that table. They put a thing, and the doctor warned me. She was just like, she might let out a little bark, but she gonna already be gone. It's just the reflex of the voice box. And sure enough, she had like human brown eyes. And when you euthanize a dog, you can literally see the life leave their eyes.
And as a pet parent, you see that maybe a couple times max in your life, whereas the vet sees that 4-5 times a day.
Yeah.
So I guess y'all don't look at me wrong. No, if you do, I could be desensitized.
You could.
I've seen so much death in the streets.
Yeah.
Friends and RIPs I've done, and CPR I've done to people in the street. Yeah. And really in the street. I mean, from CPR on Angelo Hart and RIP long time ago, in the middle of the basketball courts to just trying to stop the bleeding because I know you're finna die, to me telling a parent because they knew I was in med school at the time that just go to the hospital because I know this kid's dead. You know what I mean? I guess I've been so desensitized that none of it.
I haven't been desensitized to death, but I've been desensitized to everything that leads up to it because of that.
I'm numb, I guess.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not disagreeing with you at all. But what I mean by I can understand the vet part of it is because you're right. Like, you have seen a lot of human death, which is way worse, right? Nobody in here is gonna dispute that fact. But even in your lifetime, bro, you see, once you start, like, if you see 25 human deaths in your lifetime, like, see it personally. Now, hearing about death, that's common. But seeing it personally 25 times is a very large number for one person. Very large number. But and the same thing with animals, right? So you had pets before. I know you had dogs before.
Yeah. Well, you know how we're precious.
Yeah, and you see those dogs pass away. You know, in your lifetime, you may see, if you keep a dog, you know, your whole lifetime, you may see 5 or 6. You see a little bit more of them because their lifespan isn't as long. But to see that 5 times a day.
That's a week. That 25
for
is a week.
25 a week. That's 100 a month. That's 1,200 a year.
It becomes
That's
insane.
You know, average span of a probably veterinarian's career, you talking 35 to 40 years.
If they make it that long.
If they make it that long.
Right.
That's and human life is worth way more for sure. I'm not arguing that.
Which is why doctors at the top of that list.
But I'm
then
just
I get
saying,
the
like,
people
just
deal with it.
the consistency of it. It's either one or two things happen. You either desensitize yourself to it. But most veterinarians, I've never met a veterinarian that wasn't an animal lover.
Right.
So most,
I mean, you kind of gotta be to be.
yeah, you kind of gotta be. So
Or sadistic.
or yeah,
True.
true. So either you gotta desensitize yourself to it, or you wreck your mental for 10, 15 years. You know what I'm saying? I get only reason why I can get it is because it's so much more. Imagine being an ER doctor. An ER doctor watching, man, I'm gonna tell you,
Do you know what my dream was as a doctor?
You told me.
No, I probably didn't. I ain't telling me anything.
What was it?
I only want to work in New Orleans. I wanted this shit. I went to find, because I know I was going to lose a lot, but I know I could save a lot. Mm-hmm. And there was the time the New Orleans was the murder capital.
Right.
I specifically want to work in New Orleans ER and save as many of them brothers as I can. I know I'm going to lose a lot, but I was willing to deal with that to save a few.
Let me tell you something, bro. The people, the nurses, the doctors that went through COVID,
Yeah, they were messed up.
they're changed for life, bro.
God, they messed up.
They're changed
Now,
for life.
in that, I do have a sensitive side. I am a father, so let's talk about the other side. The thing I cannot work is pediatrics.
I had to get out of children's trauma.
Yep, I cannot work pediatrics.
Having
I do
to
not
listen
have
to
no
that.
understanding for a child that's suffering.
Yeah, listening to
I
children's
do have a
abuse
heart.
stories.
You know what I mean? But like old folks dying, animals dying, it just don't do it for me like it do for other humans. But kids dying or suffering, I'm attached to every one of them,
Bro,
and that's why people kill themselves.
If you work in the ER, you see it. Let me tell you one of the saddest things I have, and we got to get off this subject because it's so sad. My goodness. But saddest thing ever, bro. My dad had a stroke back in 2021. I think it was. Yeah, it was 2021. My dad had a stroke, and I was going back and forth to see my dad every day in the hospital. And when you go into, he was in ICU. What was that? So when you go through ICU, this was still prime COVID. So what would happen is you would walk by these rooms that all the doors was open in ICU, but you walk by these rooms that was closed and they had tape over, and it was letting people know that these COVID patients that's in ICU. I remember going up there every day, and it was this one family that always was on the elevator with me. I always ran across. We had many conversations. They had a daughter in there. She was 21 years old. She wasn't out of shape. She wasn't reckless. She wasn't any of that. She was in ICU on a ventilator. Next door to my dad. This young girl died in perfect health. And I had to listen to the moms and aunties and brothers cry.
So, it's ironic you say that because that touches right into what I want to touch you into. Death for me, I'm a faithful guy, bro. Now you know that about me. I talk a lot of shit, but I'm probably the most faithful person you ever meet. My sadness do not come from the person who has left us. My sadness comes from the person who's stuck here, having to deal with the trauma of losing that person.
Yeah.
I didn't cry when my auntie Mary passed. It was her time. I don't think God made mistakes. I cried for my uncle who had to stay here with daughter. He had been with her for 25 plus years. that tear that I shed in that hospital was for him. She have no more pain. You feel me? And death, and that's desensitization still, if that's a word. That's still being desensitized. You feel what I'm saying? When I watch a person suffer, I'd rather them transition than to continue to suffer. But the person who's stuck here, and the Bible actually says to do that too. You cry on the incoming. You rejoice on the outgoing. That's in your Bible. Research that. It just end up being that way if you're seeing so many deaths though.
I get the people who have to deal with it afterwards. I get the people left behind. I get the.
That's rough. That's why I don't like funerals. I think wakes is the dumbest thing on earth. I'm sorry, y'all. It's the truth. I think people who go to wakes are pain freaks.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, don't go. Why?
Nope.
There's no sense to go to a wake.
Nope.
Go to the funeral and say your goodbyes.
Nope.
But to go to a wake and just sit there and suffer, that is rough.
Disagree.
Everybody will. I'm one of the few people who think wakes are insane.
So I'm gonna tell you the two reasons I don't think wakes are insane. Reason number one: everybody can't make the funeral. Everybody can't deal with the emotional toll that you have to take the journey in a funeral.
You think the wake better?
Yes.
Yes.
Because if I, in order to pay my respects, if I can't take but 5 minutes, a wake will allow me to walk in, speak my piece to the person I've lost, even if it's for 2 minutes, and then I can get the hell out. If I go to a funeral, I'm gonna sit. And you expected to be there, and you expected to sit there for what, 2, 3, sometimes 4 hours in a black funeral. That's a lot of trauma to take on. To listen to these stories of people reminiscing, to having to hear the songs and everything that people gonna sing that's gonna stir up emotion. Everybody can't take that.
Okay.
So I think that's one thing. 2, I think for families, wakes can be extremely therapeutic for the fact that you know that you've lost this person and you realize that the funeral is already going to be hard for you to deal with. Having a wake will allow you that as much time as you want to come to peace with the person that you lost, because you realize that the next day all you're doing is looking at them in a casket for the last 15 minutes. But like when my mom passed, and especially when my grandmother passed. When my grandmother passed, she was staying at Little Sisters of the Poor. And so not only did my grandmother have family, she had all of the people she had met at Little Sisters of the Poor. She had all of these nuns and nurses and all of these people who just loved her. You know what I'm saying? Because she had been there at that point, I think about 5 years. Mm-hmm. So that was her home. You know, not that she had to go, but I mean, like, our schedules got busy. You know what I'm saying? It was just me and my uncle that were her primary caregivers. But then I started having to get real jobs and make more money, and his kids were getting older. You know, he was doing stuff with them. So that's kind of what, you know, the situation. Not that we wanted to, but it was an easier thing than having to schedule visits for nurses and stuff to come to the house. You know what I'm saying? So now she's in a facility where she's cared for 24/7. She's waited on hand and foot. Mm-hmm. She gets to, you know, it's a Catholic living facility, and she was Catholic. Mm-hmm. So, you know, the masses that she used to have to watch on TV, and she watched on TV for 20, 30 years. Now she was physically there to attend. She could take communion whenever they had communion. If she wanted daily communion. So it was a better outfit for her. But we're talking about a residential facility that probably had 200 people. 200 people ain't gonna come to the funeral. But by having their private room and having her set up there for a wake instead of like at a funeral home, every single person that wanted to come pay their respect had the time. And it was so crazy because I was at home when my mom passed. I was at home when my dad passed. When my grandmother passed, I was in Mississippi. I was in Hattiesburg at Bruhfest. And we had went to the picnic. You partied all day. I just happened to go take a nap because we were supposed to go to an all-white party that night. And I overslept. And when I woke up, I had 17 missed calls. And I had a text from my uncle. And he was just like, Mama gone. And it was so crazy because right before I left, I had told her, I was like, I'm going to see you when I get back. And she was just like, pray with me before you leave. And I did. And I called her when I got there. And that was the last time I got to talk to her. But I say all of that to say that when we had her wake, all the stuff that I never actually got to tell her about or talk to her about, I probably sat there 4 hours. I didn't have nothing else to do. And I knew people was going to be in and out. So I sat there. And so the next day when everybody else was kind of heavy-hearted, you know, stuff like that, I had one moment. And the one moment that I had was when they had to close that casket. But before then, I was super functional. I was functional afterwards. And I think that the wake, having that time at the wake, allowed me to do that.
Right.
But I don't think it's for everybody.
Just wait.
Go ahead. I'm done.
So I'm glad you said it like that, because I've never had nobody explain it to me in that manner.
Okay.
Because I can only see it my way, and I guess I'm more of an introvert than I thought. I can only suffer alone.
Okay, I get that.
I can't have my meltdown there. Never have, never can. When they called me and told my dad passed, I blacked out. And then my girl at the time was like, you finna go home? I'm like, nope. She said, why not? I gotta wait till I get the bite out. I don't want to be there when they take his bite out the house. I can't do that.
Yeah.
I tried to miss
I'd have been
the
in
wake,
that situation.
but my brother, I tried to miss the wake, but my little brother couldn't go to the funeral. Not because he physically couldn't. You feel what I'm saying? So he wanted to go say his bye before. And he passed out in the fucking wake. So now I'm stuck in the goddamn wake. Trying to wake him up. You feel what I'm saying? So I ended up being stuck there. I had no intention of going that way. And tried to miss most of the funeral. I just wanted to be it. When they put him in the ground, I want to go. I actually let the hearse and them leave. My family still don't know this till today. I paused and hid and watched all them drive right by me to the gravesite, put him in the ground, and I watched all them leave. And when the last car left, I went to the gravesite. My family, this is the first time I ever told them that. I can't do that in front of them. I'm more of an introvert.
Yeah.
I ain't even think about that now. And that's why I hate waits, because I need to just give me my little time, and then I can be good with it.
So I've been to wakes that I can't go to the funeral to, for sure. Like
if I go to wake, the funeral almost dead to me.
Yeah, I can't go to the funeral. Like certain people, I just can't go to attend your funeral, so I went to the wake. I've done that on several times. But anyway, man, we gotta move on. We gotta get away from this.
Yeah, we do.
It is.
Oh, this is what happens in every session. I'll be sitting there and people will start talking and they start sharing stuff. And all I have to do is be there as a witness 90% of the time.
Yep.
I'm just here as a witness and people will process their own thoughts.
Yeah, but I got a plan for you tonight. So I can't let us stay on that topic.
I was about to say, it's going to be therapeutic. You stay there too long.
Yeah, I can't
Most
stay on
folks
that
know
topic.
their issues and know their answers. They just have nobody to speak it to.
Yep.
And to confirm it to them.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because most psychologists, if you really watch the movies and the shows, they have the notepad and they write notes of what you say and reiterate it to you in a different term. And you hear it differently.
Yeah,
then you can process it better. What's the name of it?
Reframes and reflections.
That's cute. That's really what it is. I mean, Craig can tell me something, and I can hear him with a hood version of it, and he understands it better. But he knew what it was when he told it to me.
I look for 3 things every time someone's talking. I'm listening for what happened. I'm listening for what they thought about it, and I'm listening for the feelings. And most people don't actually say the feeling words, but you can kind of assume. And then a lot of my reframes are just repeating that back. Like, it sounds like you're feeling XYZ about this. That makes sense because ... And so many people will be like, yes, you get it. I'm like, you didn't hear you say it. I I heard you say it. Now you're hearing it back from somebody else, and that's what you need to sit with for a second.
That's real. I can tell you therapy helped me out a lot.
I've never been in therapy. I don't think I ever go to therapy. Not saying that I'm not off my rocker, but in the same sense of what I said earlier, I'm more of an introvert. I literally got to process myself to myself, or it don't make sense to me.
So you don't have to be crazy to go to therapy.
Who said crazy?
You said off your rocker.
I'm talking about me. I'm talking about me, only me.
Yeah, but you.
No, I'm talking about
you don't
me.
have to be off your rocker to go to a therapist.
I do.
No, you don't.
I have to process my shit to me. No matter what a person tell me, until it processes in my brain that don't make sense.
Right.
That's just who I am. There's no way around it for me. I'm 44 years old now.
I think that's stubbornness, bro. I don't think that's.
Bruh.
It's okay.
No,
You can think
that's
what
the
you want
only way it
because
worked for
we
me.
just can't hang out for too long. That's all it is. Because it's gonna turn into a therapy session, whether you like it or not.
You fuck around and learn something.
Hey, I learn a lot every day. That's what I like.
Hey, it got a process in my brain, bro. You'll see me working on a project. You've been around me long enough. And I stop. And I just sit there and look dumb for about 15 minutes. And then go fix it. Where you get that from? That's the same thing I do when I'm having a mental problem. I just got to sit with myself for a few minutes. Then I go fix it.
Ask me a question, bro. Ask me this question. Who do you think need therapy more than anybody else in your life? Ask me that question.
Who do you think needs therapy more than anybody in your life?
You.
Okay.
Word is bond, bro. I ain't no lie. Can't make this up. Can't deny. Can't lie about it, bro. So now, mind you, I was just like you. Dog. I feel like therapy was stupid.
Who said? I never said therapy was stupid.
Well, let me clean that up. I didn't hear you say therapy was stupid.
Thank you.
But I feel like therapy was stupid.
Okay, well, leave it in your bag.
I feel like therapy was stupid. But I had got to a point where you know me too, I was mentally bad off. Right?
Yeah.
Real bad off, right? So mentally really bad off. I needed something, bro. I was going crazy on a daily basis. Sitting in this house alone with my thoughts, especially during COVID.
Yep. A lot of people came just because they hit an F it moment. Like nothing else working.
Yeah.
Might as well.
Well, it was either that or
Yep.
the alternative, right? So I had to make and I talked to Dream, I talked to my brother Spike, I talked to my mom, I talked to all these people, and everybody gave me a different perspective, and I appreciate every one of them individually. But none of them could give me what I needed, right? None of y'all could give me exactly what I need. Y'all give me that temporary relief where I could kind of calm myself down, go to sleep, and then maybe wake up tomorrow and prolong thinking about it until 5 or 6 o'clock that evening. But it came right back, and it was every day like that for me for a long time. So when I told you my phone session was 15 minutes, what I didn't tell you is I had 4 to 5 a week. Like I had mad sessions a week. I talked almost every day for a while. And then it got down to my sessions got longer, but it was twice a week. And then it got down to my session was once. And then I, insurance changed again. I couldn't go no more. And not that I don't want to go back. I definitely need to go back. I can definitely feel myself slipping now. I can feel it's a different slip now though. I can feel myself slipping in other aspects of my life. So it's stuff that needs to be recollected, and I plan on going back because I think it's so important. But the thing is, I think it's so much stuff about yourself that you hide from yourself. I think it's so much stuff about yourself that you know about yourself, but you accept it. Even though it's wrong, you accepted it, so you think it's okay. It's so much stuff about yourself that just need to be explored, that you can't explore with yourself because you have already told yourself that it's alright. And talking to people, talk to a professional, and it may not be the first section, bro, it may not be the second, man, maybe 20 sections in. But talking to people, you realize like, oh snap. You start self-reflecting, you realize that you've been telling yourself something wrong for 10 to 15 years. For 10 to 15 years, I lied to myself about something. For 25 years, I lied to myself about something. These are different occasions. But I learned this in going to therapy. I was lying to myself about aspects of my life that's way too personal for me to tell the world because they ain't none of their business. And I've never told you, never told the attorney, Matter of fact, I don't think I've ever told anybody about the stuff that I found out I was lying to myself about. But I lied to myself about literally something for at least, this was, I was 33 at the time, so, let's see, 24 years. I was lying to myself about something. 24 years. I was lying to myself. Some of that happened when I was 9. Like, and several things beyond that. Man, let me tell you, this poisonous black culture that we give ourselves. And when I say poisonous black culture, I'm not saying that our culture is poisonous, but it's certain aspects and certain teaching in our culture that's super poisonous to our mental state that we feel like it's just normal. Like, I thought it was normal to, like, bag as many women as I could. I thought that was normal, bro. I thought it was fun. I thought I was crazy about it. And I was good at it. You know. You was right there with me. You know. I thought it was fun. I thought I was
for yourself.
killing it. Yeah.
Why can't you put me in his bag?
He was right there with me. I mean, he just don't have the understanding that I have now, but he was right there with me when we was doing the crazy, the
Because
foolishness.
you're closer to marriage than I am.
No, bro. It wasn't even about, bro. It got nothing to do with marriage, bro. This is before I even proposed.
No, I know, but still, the closer you get to something, the more you understand the things that you did that might not have been right to mankind earlier.
Wait, let me tell you something, bro. At the time when I had this breakthrough, I ain't have a woman in my life.
Yeah, but you wanted it.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. So let me tell you something about me and my brother.
Wait. I prefer not. I prefer not.
No, this is gonna be real quick.
Nah, it's never quick.
This
I
is
prefer
real
not.
quick.
No, I mean,
Yours took way longer than I'm finna say.
but what you about to tell me is about to be something.
No,
it's about to be an excuse.
No, it ain't an
about
excuse.
why your mind is broken.
No, you can't tell me my mind broken because I don't work the same.
I understand that, Brenda, but I'm telling you. Well, are you right? Your mind ain't broken. I do apologize for saying it that way.
You can't.
No, I'll just apologize. Do yourself an apology or not?
Ish.
Okay. So what I'm telling you is that maybe you should explore that to see if you really feel that way. That's what I'm telling you.
I do though.
You do it with yourself.
But you don't understand.
The same person that lied to you
Let me
about
ask you a
it.
question. I'm gonna ask you a question. I've never felt depression before.
Mm-hmm.
Ever. I am faithful.
Lucky.
I was lucky.
Wait, he said he's never felt depression before, but he about to tell you he did. He finally
Facts.
experienced it.
And immediately, I knew what it was when I felt it. And immediately, I called a person that I knew who felt it before. And said, bro, I'm fucked up. He said, what you mean? I'm depressed. He like, man, get the fuck out. Now, I actually know what it feels like now. So you can't tell me that something was broke when it never was until it got broke. And as soon as it got broke, I call you first. I ain't call my mama, my sister, my cousin, nobody. I call you first. Because I knew what it felt like then.
And let me tell you the difference. So you realized you had depression. You made changes in your life to counteract that, and then you can't.
I'm still working on that shit.
Okay, but you creeped out of it, right?
Yeah.
It didn't get deep like mine.
No, it was that deep then, bro.
Okay, well, I hear you. It was that deep. It went 25 years of depression deep, though.
I went about 6 months.
Right. So let me tell you something, bro. It's a real big difference, dog. When you deal with it for 25 years of your life or longer. You know what I mean? Like, it's a huge difference. Because guess what? And this is the thing. You know how strong the mind
I
is.
believe you.
You
My
ain't-
point is, you was broke, though.
Yeah, no.
I wasn't.
No, what you ain't understanding, bro, is that you tell yourself that is how life is. You lie to yourself and you start
You
believing a
can't
lie.
call it a lie to me.
No, I ain't
So
telling
some
you.
people think God is a lie.
I'm not telling you. I'm not telling you that's how you feel. I'm telling you what I did.
Okay.
What I did, I started telling myself that that's what life was. I started telling myself that that was the normal. Like, that's what my day-to-day was going to be like. And I lived it. And I didn't feel like I needed help for it because I feel like
This is normal. This is the baseline.
this the baseline.
Yeah.
And I had done that for so long.
And
I
then
didn't
you
even
go
know.
and you finally talk to somebody like, wait, I don't have to be here 24/7. Are
Right.
you telling me there's things I could do different?
Exactly. And I wasn't unhappy all
Right.
25 years. A lot of them years I was elated.
But
On
there was the
surface.
baseline.
On surface.
But then there was a bit, yep.
On the surface, I was elated. A lot of times you see me, bro, how many bad times we had? growing, I mean, you know what I'm saying, being around me, how many bad times you see me bad off?
Not a lot.
Bruh, and that's what I'm telling you. That wasn't nothing new. It's stuff that had been going on, but I had been telling myself that it was, like you said, the baseline. So what I'm telling you is that, bruh, and like you said, you can take this how you want to, bruh. If you're a grown man, you 49,000 years old, you're going to do what you want to do anyway. But what I'm telling you is that, bruh, I can guarantee you that it's stuff that you told yourself that was okay. I can guarantee you it's stuff that you have lied to yourself about that you don't realize that you lied to yourself about that you can discover if you gave it a chance.
I try to never lie to y'all, to the public, or to myself.
The metaphor I give my clients is that my job is not to fix
See
it.
where that went?
It's not to fix it. It's never been to fix it. It's not my job. It's not my life. It's not my consequences. My job is to hold the flashlight. I imagine going to therapy is like finally clearing out your attic. And you go up there and you're like, it's dark, it's creepy, there's a bunch of stuff in here. I don't even know what's in here. There's bugs in the corner.
You forgot about what you put in there.
And people come to meet me or other therapists and they're like, clean this out for me. Help me fix it. And I'm like, I can't do that. What I can do is I can hold the flashlight. I can free your hands up so you can go through your stuff. And I can shine some lights over it. It's like, okay, so what's this here? What is this? Do you need this? Whose is it? Does it work? Does it still serve a purpose? Mm-hmm. Do you want it? Mm-hmm. Does it have to stay right here? Yes? No? Cool. What about that? Because there's been stuff over here. Some of it is yours. You put up here to hide it and forget about it. Mm-hmm. Some of it was not yours. Somebody else stuck it up here and you just kind of inherited it. Some of it is stuff from other people you met along the way and you should have gave that back to them a long time ago. Some of that stuff is broke. You're not. But the mindsets and the things you held on to are. And most people don't realize, one, they got an attic, or two, there's a bunch of crap up there that they are allowed to let go of. Mm-hmm. And it's nice to finally have somebody validate, one, that there is crap, and two, you don't have to keep it. Do what you want. It's your attic. Mm-hmm. So what, your parents put stuff in there? So what, your grandparents had stuff in there? So what, the country put stuff in there? That's not yours. You don't have to hold it. Let it go. And do what you want with it.
Big facts. Mm-hmm. Big facts. I'm appreciative. I'm very appreciative of it. It's great for me.
It ain't for everybody, though. I will say that.
It ain't fair.
I burned my attic a long time ago.
You set it on fire?
And I bet you got ash in your living room. But if you're willing to live with it, cool.
Yes, I have ash parties every Saturday
Don't
at
you
5.
see that nigga beard? He's be playing in it.
I am probably the most comfortable person you'll ever meet.
That's okay.
Seriously. This
can
ain't a
be
facade
comfortable.
either.
No, I believe it. The other metaphor I use all the time is personal growth mountain. You meet people where you are at that point in your personal growth, but it is the growing pains you choose. You do not have to keep that journey. You do not have to keep growing. You do not have to keep trying. There's nothing wrong with anybody you met at the point that you are, nor is there anything wrong with going further than that. Some people are really comfortable where they are. Let them make camp. Let them be happy. But if you don't feel comfortable there, keep going. Do something else. There's no judgment. If you're comfortable where you are with what you've gotten. I learned this when I was dealing with my dad. I was so pissed off at him. Like, how is it that you 60-something years old and you here, and at 20 years old, 30 years old, I've surpassed you. Why can't you just... And finally, I heard him, I heard me, and I realized I have no idea how far up this mountain you had to come before I met you. Mm-hmm. You tired. But you made tremendous progress to get to where I started from. Mm-hmm. I can't judge you for that.
Right.
I can't judge you for that. I don't know your journey and how far you
And that is my only stressor.
Yeah.
I am never comfortable.
So you gonna go at your pace, and if therapy is gonna be a part of it at some point, cool. If it ain't,
when I say no, different than you can even imagine. Mm-hmm. I can be above everybody I know, and I'm still never comfortable. That is my only stress. Mm. Good enough is never good enough for me. I gotta do better.
But
it's
why?
the reason why I am in finance. Mm-hmm. It's the reason why you know me as this man as I am.
Why though?
Because I just gotta do better.
But why?
We walk into a meeting, call me a lot, and the F9 manager, big man, say, hey, this guy's doing good for a brand new guy for the first month. And the GM say, hey, man, I'm proud of you. And I'm pissed off at the time. He pulled him and say, man, what's wrong with Dream? Because he ain't number one.
Good ain't never good enough.
Now, that is my only stressor. I put more pressure on myself than any human can.
Well, that's unfair,
Most
but okay.
most people do.
No, the any human can. Now, I'm doing good enough to make more money than I have since I've been here. I don't care. I'm not number one. That is one of my only stressors.
But you,
And if
but
I do
you,
need
but,
to talk to a therapist, that's what it's about.
But you
My
put that stress
competition
on yourself.
True.
You put that stress on yourself
Oh, ain't no doubt.
because
My
you're not gonna
question
be
is
you're
why?
not gonna be number one out the gate.
Why not?
Everybody got to be a rookie at some point in their life.
That's y'all. That's the difference between. That's my stressor.
But that's why you add stress. That's unnecessary stress to add to your
agree.
life.
But we were talking about therapy. I said if I ever need therapy, it's for that. I walk in the Nissan. What I ask.
Talk, Rob.
That's all I care about.
I found out it was me.
Okay, so whoa,
When I walk-
whoa,
listen,
whoa.
no, let's go back even
Oh,
further.
so, all right.
I'm
Wait,
not-
wait.
Like I'll just stir stuff
So
up. Y'all.
let's dive a little bit deeper into that. Is it your ego that won't allow you to not be second place?
So it ain't ego for me. Because I'm that way in everything.
I get that.
That don't mean it's not ego.
It don't mean exactly.
So it ain't ego. It's literally some type of competition gene that I have that I was born with that I can't drop.
You weren't born with it.
Yes, I was.
You were.
As
There
a
was
baby, I
a
was fucked
belief.
up like that.
You have a belief. You told yourself you should be number one.
In everything and every time.
And I'm not arguing with that. But the should. You told yourself you should.
No, I told myself I gotta be.
You think there's a difference?
Yes.
That's interesting.
The person who said they gotta be gonna work a little harder. And the person who said they should.
I think you put in a lot of effort behind it, 100%. But that should is still there. And my question is why? Why do you have to be? Because what happens if you're not? What happens if you don't? What
I
happens if you
train
can't?
harder. I study harder. I go harder. And I think it just makes me a better person.
Okay.
I got a question for you.
Oh. I was doing really good with it not being on me for a while. What's up?
No, and I feel like this is the perfect question for you.
Alright.
So I posed that question to him to relay this back to you.
Okay.
So your ego is essentially supposed to be the reality that checks the id and the superego. Where does narcissism fall on that scale?
It's a personality disorder. That's the thing. Narcissistic traits are different from narcissism.
Okay.
So there's a lot of mental health terms that get thrown around. And narcissistic is one of them.
Okay.
Bipolar is another one.
Okay.
Depressed is another one. Like, most people don't actually know those clinical definitions for it. Everybody has some narcissistic traits to a certain extent.
Facts.
Big facts.
Yeah. But is it is it a personality disorder? It has to meet all of these criteria in order for narcissism to exist.
Okay.
I love the fact that it shows up or it presents more statistically in men. Just like hysteria and borderline personality presents
It says
statistically
more in women. Facts.
Yep.
I did a lot of research on that.
So part of it is, I believe, part of it is cultural, and the traits that are allowed to be presented in the gendered presentations. Men are competitive. It's okay for men to be competitive. So when that narcissistic traits show up, that's acceptable in men. It's acceptable for women to be emotional. So when borderline, that push-pull emotion shows up, it's acceptable. And culture supports it, unfortunately.
Facts.
So it gets, part of it is genetic, part of it is culture. But yeah, I don't think most people are as narcissistic as you believe. It's literally like percentage, like maybe 1 to 3% of the population. But you'll hear it everywhere.
That's a fact.
That is a fact.
That is a fact. I believe that though. Like what you said already. Like I kind of already knew that.
Yeah.
Because like
Antisocial is another one that is typically presented with men more so than women.
I used to have it was a lighter. It wasn't a shirt. It was a lighter. It said, "I'm not antisocial. I just don't like you."
Yeah, and most antisocial don't mean what people think it mean either. So it's very interesting.
I believe that. I definitely believe that.
So, not narcissistic, not egotistical. And I'm going to tell you why I know I'm not egotistical. If I'm in a realm of a person who's doing better than me, I have no pride issues going to that person and saying, how did you get that good? And can you teach me? A person that's egotistical will not. I can make friends with that person and still be competitive in the friendly nature with that person to try to better each other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't have an ego problem. I do have a want-to-win problem. Am I lying about that?
No, it's the truth story.
I will.
I just hope one day you get to the point where you get to enjoy your success and be at peace and content with everything you've achieved. I think that's the part that's unfair with that mindset that you have.
I agree.
You don't get to enjoy
I totally
anything if it's never ever going to be good enough. And I think everybody deserves to enjoy their life. I hope you get there.
I had that breakthrough like 4 months ago. That man, I've had a really successful track record in working from the time I was like 20 to now, even to now. Every job I've been to, I've moved to a different position relatively fast. I've shown success. I've had all of that. But I've spent 8 years at one company, left there, 1 year with a company. They was about to promote me there. Hard labor work though, not a laborer. Left there, went to another company, moved my way up through the ranks, left there, went to another company in the same industry, moved myself up through the ranks, left there, went here. I kept realizing, I kept telling myself that I was going to use this place for a stepping stone. I told myself about that everywhere I worked. I've never worked there somewhere I was like, you know what, I'm just going to work here. And if I get an opportunity to do something greater, I will. I always was like, I'm just going to be here for a year. I was going to be here for a year and a half. So once that time come up and I ain't done it, the timer in my head went off though. So now I'm unhappy with being there.
And beating yourself up and not enjoying it.
Exactly.
And absolutely miserable even if you're successful.
So,
and that's the thing. All three of y'all, I've been watching the show for a while. Y'all are all very successful in what y'all do and who you are in ways that work for y'all. Do y'all actually enjoy it?
So 4 months ago, I 100% was like, you know what? I gave this company 8 years of my life. I gave this industry 9 years of my life. And all those I was there for like stepping stone pieces and never was like, you know what, I'm going to commit and make this one place work. I mind if I stayed at that first company this entire time, I wouldn't have to do what I'm doing now because it would pay me the same money, if not more. Yeah. Because I had been there for so long, right? And same thing with every industry you go into. So I was like, you know what, is this something that I can see myself doing? I had to ask myself that question first. Yeah, I can do this long term. I can retire here. I can make a career here. If I can't make a career here, I can make a career in this industry and retire in this industry, right? So I was like, okay, so like, let's commit. Let's really commit to what you're doing and pay attention. And I changed my mindset, right? So now it's more like, I'm going to do this job. I'm going to make sure I enjoy it. I'm going to make sure I'm better at it. I'm not going to put a time frame on when I need to leave this job or if I ever need to leave this job. And I'm going to continue to work on my endeavors that I dream of on the outside for myself and way more relaxed at work.
Yes.
Way more productive at work.
You enjoy it.
Way more comfortable outside of work. Like, I don't think about, man, I got to go to work this day. Like, I used to get off on Friday at the car dealer show. I used to get off on Saturday and be like, man, money going to be here tomorrow.
Yep.
Be mad.
Be mad. Now I get off and be like, what we doing today? Oh, it's Sunday. I'm going to relax. And then Monday morning, I wake up and I stretch and be like,
let's go.
Let's go back to work. You know?
I never had time to stretch in the car business.
And it's...
You don't?
No.
He does.
I'm about to say, you just don't take the time.
Oh, yes, he do.
And he work out every day. He work out every day.
That's not a part of stretching, nigga. That's even harder. That I still find a way to keep maintaining my physical health to go with the fucked up schedule I work with. No, nigga, that ain't good. That's bad. That's horrible.
You just out of balance. That's all. You
That's
got everything
rough.
you need to
Last
be.
night I ain't get out of there till damn at 9 o'clock. And my fight was to go home and change clothes and still get my lazy ass to the gym, which I left at 11:15. That's a struggle.
That's
Wasn't no
discipline.
stretching.
So you
That's
didn't have a
discipline.
chance to stretch?
Yeah, before I got on the treadmill.
Okay then, so you stretch.
No, we
What
talking
are
about a
we
mental.
talking
We talking
about?
about a mental stretch.
We're talking about taking a break.
I literally just
That's
said,
what I'm talking about. I didn't have no breaks, no breaths in that. And then I went to sleep and my alarm went off. I waited home, jumped in the jacuzzi, and my alarm was going off. And I had to go see his face again.
No, you know what's right. You know you're exactly right.
You said it like we
now,
wasn't there together last night.
now I understand what you meant. I was talking about I literally wake up more in the morning, feel
And
refreshed,
physically.
and
Yeah,
stretch out, and then go to work.
that's what I'm saying.
I completely
Yeah.
understand. So
You
know
was in the car business.
You know the reason why I'm not in the car industry no more?
Because you didn't get to do that.
Because I didn't get to do that.
That's what I was saying.
Do you know what I sacrificed? To be able to do this.
The income.
You know how many zeros?
It don't matter. If it's any zeros, it's a real sacrifice.
It was a bunch of them.
You know, we know.
It was a bunch of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's
I want
no
a
breaks,
life. I don't
man.
want a life of shoulds. I don't want a life where I ticked off these things on a checklist or I'm doing anything in comparison to anybody else. I want a life that's functional and sustainable for me. It works for me and I can maintain it at my pace in a healthy way. And I know that's going to look different from everybody else. Somebody can be functional and sustainable up there all the time. I ain't one of them.
No, and what you
I don't wanna be.
So I have dreams and aspirations to be
Of course.
extremely successful, and I work at it. But I also have the other part of my mind. It's like if that never happens, that's okay. Well, that's what that when I told you 4 months ago I had that personal breakthrough where I was like, okay, I can do this. That's what happened. I was like, you know what? If I work here for 10 years, I'm gonna make the money I was making, and probably more. I'm gonna make the money I was making. I'm okay with my schedule right now. I can provide a great life for my family, and I can be happy with my family because I'm happy with that right now. So
y'all had an episode a while back where you were talking about what do women look for in men, and I remember my comment was talking about someone who matches my values. I do an exercise with my clients, a core values exercise, and that's part of what we do. We talk about what your values are, and then we define them for yourself. So you want to be successful, you want to be the best. What does that actually mean? Because your definition is going to look different from everybody else. Your definition of successful is very much not mine. I am highly successful. I am not making nearly as much money as probably anybody in this room, and I'm okay with that because what I'm successful at, like my definition is different, and I hit those goals. I love having that conversation with people. What matters to you, and what does that actually mean? Because we comparing apples to oranges if we talk about it any other
And
way.
bananas and pineapples and all that.
There's a whole
Grapes,
berry hanging in there.
you know what's
Random.
funny? So I dream to you about how competitive he is, how you got to be number one all the time, and I've never stated this. I'm just as competitive, but I don't know if we have a different reason, but I feel like we do.
I think I'm naturally competitive. However, only in certain things.
Ooh, I'm glad. So
Only in
sorry,
certain things.
Don't. Only because that's what I was hoping you get in that realm, and that's what fucks me up mentally. I'm that way in everything.
For sure. And that's what we
That's
do.
what messed me up. That's why when you said I might need help, that's the only thing I need help. I'm that way in everything. You can't beat me in checkers, chess, poker, sex, nothing. I can't lose in nothing. It's a problem.
I am my only
You
competition.
pick your battles and you
Your
go
only
win.
competition.
I am my only competition.
I'm completely different.
As long as I'm
Completely
doing
different.
what I want to do, how I want to do it, and I'm doing it where I want to do it and the way I want to do it, I'm cool. Now, the minute you try to go against the grain that make me uncomfortable, now we got to fight. Now I'm about to come back at you. And it's a lot of times that I'm just talking, but people purposely try to hit them digs under my skin because they want to try to get you to react. I'm gonna react, and it's not gonna be the reaction that you think you want from me. It took me a long time to get to this mental place of peace that I'm at right now. And I try my best to not let anything or anybody affect that mood that doesn't directly affect my family, my pockets. You know what I'm saying? Like if it ain't affecting my way of life, I don't really care. As long as my way of life and the people that I love and that I support and that I protect around me, if it ain't messing with none of them, do your thing. I don't give a shit what you do. Yeah. Handle your business, do your thing. That's what make you happy. Do it. But don't bring that bullshit over here.
Right.
That's how I feel.
Yeah. Now, I can agree with you.
Now, you know, don't get me wrong. When we athletic stuff, like I'm playing kickball, yeah, I want to be the best. You know, if we playing sports, let's do it. If we having game night, yeah, I want my team to win. Like I get competitive and stuff like
and
that.
Fun competitive,
but it's fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
You know what I'm saying? Like trying to be. I ain't got to be the best. So at what I do, I just got to be the best at knowing what I know how to do. Because eventually, if I focus making my better my best, I'm gonna keep getting better. And that's all it boils down to for me.
I want to be at my best 24/7.
Right.
Because it becomes my average and I ain't got time.
That's it.
So, and it's the difference. This is where I lack in human nature. You said the fun competitors. That's most people. I'm the obsessive compulsive. And that's the way you said it.
You're right.
I'm obsessive compulsive. Give you a great example. Call me a lie. Craig said, you should try these. Put these on, bro. You're going to like this. He gave me a set of Oculus and said, try this game. And it was hard. Okay?
I remember this.
I can't sleep at night now.
Yeah, I remember this.
I can't fucking sleep because it was hard. So now you got to let me borrow them. So I borrowed them for a week. I got good at it. But now I don't want to be better than Craig. I want to be better than everybody I seen on YouTube. So I studied and went and bought my own set, and all I did was practice for the next 90 days straight. And then when next time he see me, he said, yep, something wrong with you. That's how I am about everything in life, though.
So, that's the difference, right? This is the example I was going to give. I started, how many months ago? About 2-3 months ago, playing for a basketball team.
Yes.
We playing for a basketball team. I've never played basketball in my life. Never played high school ball. Never played middle school ball.
He said never played basketball in my life.
Bro, period. Like straight up. Straight up. Like I won the basketball. First, I've never just cared enough to try to be a basketball player. Now, not saying that I'm not totally terribly unathletic. Now I am. But when I was younger, I wasn't. You know what I'm saying? When I was younger, I wasn't terribly unathletic. So if I would have played every day with everybody else that was playing every day, I would have been decent today. But I never cared to. So I, signed up. Brother tell me about this league. He said it's going to be all old people. It's like a church league, whatever. And I was like, man, I'm down. Well, he like, well, I know he asked everybody else but me. I'm like, bro, why you ask me? He was like, man, you don't want to play no basketball? I'm like, bro, I don't want to play basketball, but I want to get in shape. And you telling me it's all old people, so I won't look terrible out there. Right? So I start playing in this league with him. And I make the first 6-7 games straight. Don't miss one. But let me tell you something about, I found out the first game that it wasn't an old people league. It was teams that had been playing this same league for 3 and 4 years straight, every single year, both seasons. They was in great shape. It was people running up and down the court, real hoopers, people that played college level, high school, played ball their whole life. And I was like, oh, I am not in my company.
Well,
yeah.
Right? I'm not in my company. So, bro, I was showing up to the game just so we would have enough people there so we wouldn't forfeit. But then I wouldn't play no more because I just wasn't able. And my team want to be competitive too. And I'll be robbing them from the experience if I'm begging to be on the court when I know I'm not competitive.
Right.
Right? I'm fair. I went to the practices when we had practice. And, of course, I could have got better. For sure. I can keep playing and get better eventually. But it wasn't my battle to fight, right?
Right.
I, don't like playing basketball. Let's get that understood first. I don't enjoy it. Everybody else around me, both teams, having a blast. Guess what I was doing? miserable playing basketball.
Yeah.
But I was there for a different reason. I'm thinking it's
Right.
going to be old. I'm thinking it's going to be a decent workout. I can kind of run up and down the court for
That's
4 to
your
5
why.
minutes and not have to
Little casual game.
casual game. No,
Yeah.
they balling. These
Yeah.
high school, like, bro, this seemed like high school collegiate type games. Now, mind you, it didn't look as good because, just
Right.
not. But they was on a different level of skill. So when I talked to my brother, I was like, look, bro, I'm done. He's like, what you mean I'm done? I'm like, bro, it ain't for me. I'm not really into it. First off, like, let me get that understood first. I don't really like playing. I came to, to get in shape and work out. And, I thought it was going to be older people where I can kind of, blend in and not stand out like a sore thumb and not cause anybody else any grief.
Right.
So I was like, he was like, man, you got to keep playing. That's how you get better. I was like, I understand.
If I wanted to.
I understand that. But if I wanted to, I don't want to play.
Right. I don't want to get better at this.
And I don't want to get as good as these guys because they play every day. Like they, on Saturday morning, hey man, who want to hoop?
Mm-hmm.
That's the last thing on my mind on Saturday
Yeah.
morning.
That's
you know
the
what I'm
thing.
saying?
Like if I want to do it, I can do it.
Exactly.
I had that conversation before. I am not used to failing at things I actually want to do.
Yeah, me neither.
That pisses me off.
So,
But
perfect
there's
example.
lots of stuff I don't care about.
I was
Please enjoy.
100% okay being called a quitter, being called
How do
whatever
deal
you
with
want.
that?
Huh?
Dream like how do you deal with wanting to be good at shit that don't matter?
It's rough.
I can't.
I was okay with it, bro. I was like, okay. I was like, bro, you don't understand. And I was like, and this, you know what? Quitting wasn't the hard part for me. That's the easy part. I didn't want to play
So
anyway.
that's the easy part.
You know what was the hard part for me?
Dealing with them.
Admitting.
The hard part for me was being on that team and everybody else on that team depend on me to be able to help support the team win. And I couldn't.
Right.
That affected me more. So I had to
Yeah,
sit on
I
that
get
bench
that. I get that.
before the 5 games, watching us struggle in these games
And knowing you can't help them.
and knowing that if
Right.
I got on the court, I make it worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that.
So at that point, now it's mentally exhausting me because I'm like, man, I don't even want to be here because I feel like I'm, you know what I'm saying? This and they may never, nobody on the team may never felt that way, but they ain't they struggle, they ain't they burden to carry. That's mine.
Yeah. What you tell yourself is true becomes your reality 100%.
Yeah.
If you telling yourself you're a burden, you are a burden.
And I felt that way. So I made the decision. I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm out. I'm out. And I don't regret the decision. Period. But the stuff that I am good at, I'm the best. That's where my competitive side come in at. Dream walked through the door. I'll never forget this. Is how he started at Nissan Mobile. He came down there.
Started everywhere, ever been, in everything.
He walked in. No, this is before he even got the job. He walked in. He was like, man, I'm gonna come out and holler at you. I'm gonna stop by and holler at you. So he walked in, had his stuff on, looking around, just looking around the dealership. He like, who the top dude in here? And I was like, you looking at it? I'm still selling this points packs all over my wall. I'm like, you looking at it? He like, oh. Then we walk around back. I show him where they do detail and stuff. Next thing you know, he like, yeah, I'm gonna apply. He apply.
And I'm coming for your spot.
He get the job. As soon as he walked in, he was like, first thing he said, he was like, yeah, bro, I knew a crib was number 1. I had to tell him because I know I'm supposed to him. Oh, really? The next thing he said, I'll beat you this month. Really? And I give him this. I had a little bit of unfair advantage. I had been in Mobile for a couple years before him, working in the dealership for a couple years before him. So I had clientele base. But no, you told me you was going to outgrind me. Sorry.
Lit a fire, huh?
Oh my God. Put 15 on. Next month he tell me the same thing. I didn't even finish the month out. But when I left the floor, I was at 25. And he still didn't beat me when I left the floor. He never caught up to the 25. I left the floor early. I'm just saying, at that point, I was like, yeah, bro, it ain't even competition here. Then we got to our next store we worked at together. We was wrestling gross.
Yeah.
Had to go back to gross. We both on the desk. I ain't gonna lie to you. He would pick a win because he got to tell himself he won something. Man, I went front gross every month. And he true enough, he did win front gross every month. And total gross had about 150 every month.
That's just because you sold way more cars.
Doesn't matter.
Per PVU, ain't many people.
Our guests don't even know what that means.
At all.
they have no
I'm
idea.
lost.
True. But no. So
it's the metrics, whatever you.
No, you gonna
So when we talk about my problem, it's literally different than you can ever imagine. So I pick my battles, and I have a problem with losing, or your battle that you threw me in. I had a white friend tell me out of nowhere, because we were talking shit like this, that I'd never beat him in golf. He said, because I was born with a golf club in my head, and we're going to the wedding this weekend. You know, good friend of mine, so it ain't no beef. I played golf every weekend or every off day for 2 years straight. All the money, all the training, all the time, all the passion to beat him one time.
And that's all you needed.
That's how sick I am.
I was gonna say, because I ain't heard you talk about playing golf since.
I just had to beat him. I never want to be Tiger Woods.
See, you know the thing. So
I'm that obsessive.
I'm gonna tell you, and I've done. I deal with
that John ain't there.
because you ain't got nobody to compete with.
No, I still got to compete with the people because I still want to be number one overall. I want to be him.
I was just thinking that, like,
That makes me sad.
when Country left, it had to have a burr up your butt because you could no longer beat him at that particular thing too.
It didn't, because so for me, I shoot for the stars because worst case scenario, I land on the moon. Mm-hmm. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it didn't. That drives me though. I did that. Him leaving bothered me. He stayed in the same store. He became a manager.
Gotcha.
You feel what I'm saying? So now I got to become a manager so I can be a better manager. That's who I am. I'm telling you, I'm sick.
But John's leaving. So
See, for me, it's only I just gotta hit. I gotta go for myself.
Yeah,
I gotta hit it.
We've talked about yours,
and it took somebody saying this to me that made me realize that okay, you're right. I really don't care about nobody else being competition, but me being my own competition. Once I hit where I want to hit, I be like, oh yeah, I did it. On to the next.
Yep.
I can't sit and enjoy the success of something that I've worked towards because my mind is already racing on the next thing I want to be successful at.
Are you about as sick as me?
No, I'm not.
He said no.
If I want to punch you in the shoulder because of it, we would fight.
Not really, because it's with me, unless you affecting my growth, we're never gonna fight. I promise you, I'm like, I can be, it depends, like I said, unless you're affecting the growth. If we competing, let's just say me and you end up being dart friends. You feel me?
Yeah.
And we throw darts at each other. It's gonna be fun. But I'm gonna kick your ass.
Well, that's
I'm
fair.
gonna buy the drinks, I'm gonna buy you food, and I'm gonna continue to call you out so we can win. But it's a fun. I'm not mad at you when we do.
What's gonna
You
make
know what I'm
me
saying?
mad is when you're successful and then you can't enjoy it. That's what I'm gonna be pissed off. That's what That's what I'm saying. We gonna fight. We gonna fight because I'm gonna be like, why can't you just like enjoy this?
You gonna stay mad around me?
That's it seems like a lot of people stay mad around you, so it's cool.
Facts. I can.
What is happening with this thing? Like it just.
Look, I got a book. This expo came out Juneteenth, but I'm a little behind. I got 3/4 of it done, but this job really done pulled me away from more than I should have, right? That book gonna hit New York bestseller. It's gonna happen. Ain't gonna be enough. Ain't gonna be enough.
All right.
My first book will hit New York, but it ain't gonna be enough. Cause I'm gonna see something that say I should have beat
And there's
Wes Craven, or I should have beat who was not Wes Craven? What's the other dude, bro, that make all the scary movies?
Stephen King.
Stephen King. I'm gonna start looking at his numbers and why I can't get to his numbers. I don't want to be the best in my facility. I want to be the best ever in everything. I can't help it. That's my stressor.
That sucks. Enjoy that though.
I'm gonna die with it, but I'm gonna die feeling like. And here's the reason why I've been so good at so many different things.
Yeah.
I do put the time and dedication. I don't expect nobody to give it to me or think I'm God gifted at it. I go and actually do the necessary training to try to attain this level of goodness. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's stressful.
I feel like we didn't even get to half the stuff you might have wanted to get to.
We didn't. We're gonna have to do a part 2.
Yeah, so, man, if you don't know, I want to give you some flowers. You're a blessing in disguise. I appreciate you coming here tonight because, like you said, your presence opened people up. Like, we started chatting between
That was just y'all.
ourselves
I was just
for a
watching.
little while. And we talk about stuff, but we don't never, like, deep dive like that. So I definitely want to say appreciate you for coming through. That was strong.
This was fun.
And we definitely want
Even
you
though
back.
it got a little deep, a little sad, but it was
It
was good.
Whew, dream morbid. I had to blame somebody.
Why?
You gonna let us bring you back though?
Of course.
Yeah,
Please.
you got to.
Of course.
You got to.
Please. I know you charge for your services.
Celeste said something here. One of the best questions I've ever asked.
What?
I've ever asked. She said, "Do the challenges you take on stress you, or does it excite you to push yourself in that way?" Somebody said, "Great question," because that sounds very stressful.
It does sound stressful.
And my answer is, the truth answer is both, and both to the extreme.
Yeah.
I hate stress.
Yeah,
My
right
anxiety
about
don't. My anxiety, and maybe that's why I started only competing with myself because my anxiety won't allow me.
I challenged you a few times while we was at dealership,
Yeah, you did.
and you always gave me the.
Yeah.
he
'cause
gave me the wave off.
Yeah. I ain't got time for it.
He didn't have time for me at all.
I don't.
So I realized that me and Buck connected way better on food.
Absolutely.
Oh, it's
Absolutely.
Way competition.
Yeah, we did.
That
Yeah.
makes sense.
I ain't finna compete, but my fat ass gonna talk about some food
Yeah, we ate good.
all the time. Oh, guess what she had?
What?
Pot of fuck. So I quoted.
Wait. That's
Oh,
earth
God.
shit.
Opinion.
Not with me.
Oh.
So I'm not the only person in the city that likes pot of pho.
Well,
Now,
obviously, I ain't because
Oh, no,
the
you're
sport's
not.
still there.
Because my fiance is infatuated with it. She eat it like twice a week now.
Really?
Where the first time we had it, she went crazy
I
about
knew
it.
something wrong with it. I didn't
She
know what it
tried it again, and she was kind of okay with it. The third time, she been hooked ever since.
yeah.
I think it tastes like earth soup.
I did not get the fuck.
What did you get?
Oh,
I didn't tell you this part.
No.
You look mad.
Cause so here's the fun fact. I like pot of pho. Pho is probably the third thing on the menu that fourth. It's probably the fourth thing on the menu I actually get.
I don't know what it's called. I know that it was something with the vermicelli noodle.
Vermicelli bowl.
Yeah, that with shrimp and the egg roll in it. And
Okay.
It was delicious.
I know
The
that-
sauce made it amazing.
I might have to try that.
Yeah.
So the vermicelli is just a rice noodle.
Yeah.
I mean you'll like it. And yeah, I mean they got options now. My favorite vermicelli bowl. I know you don't eat pork, but they got a grilled chicken one too. They got rice plates too. Like a rice plate is always my go-to.
Last time I went there, I had their version of beef stew. Was called something different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was delicious, but my only complaint about it, and the reason why I said I wouldn't eat it again, because the food itself was delicious. My only complaint, they gave you a ton of meat,
Yeah.
but it was more fat than meat, and I don't eat fat.
I got you.
So I was like, I'd never get this. I had a bag, like it came in a bag, you know, the
Right.
bag they tied up with. Like I was cutting the fat, I was putting it in the bag, and the bag was literally about the size of the container that the
Broth.
broth came. Well, not really. The broth was the big container. It was another container that had something else in it. It was one of the small. It was about the same size as that. And I was like, man,
That's too much.
they just sold me,
Yeah.
you know, a container of unedible food
Right.
For you, yeah.
for me. Yeah.
Well, so I mean, cause we got to talk about it. But on a scale of 1 to 10, what you think?
One, I'm obsessed with the Thai tea. That's a thing forever now. Thai tea is the best thing I've ever put in my.
This the first time.
Somebody
This the first
said
time you ever
boba
had-
tea.
I don't like
That's
bubble tea.
Tati.
That's what Tati is?
I mean,
Do
so
without
you don't
the
have
stuff
you don't
in
have
it.
to get the bowl.
Okay.
I don't
I don't
like
like
the
the
stuff
bowl.
in it.
What
I don't
kind
like
did
the
you What
boba.
kind did you get?
Just the regular Thai tea.
Okay. Do you like avocado?
I don't know where you're going with this.
It is scary.
Next time you go, get an avocado tea. I'm telling you, it sounds crazy.
Avocado tea.
It's like an avocado milkshake. It is
like the worst decision.
It is not.
Sounds awful.
It is not.
An
It is.
avocado milkshake?
That sounds like mayonnaise in my head. Like my green mayonnaise
Nope.
is what I pictured.
No.
It was real bad.
No.
With a straw in it.
Yeah, like
No.
ooh.
No. It's more dessert. It's sweet. It's creamy. It's nice. You'll like it. Anyway, are we ready for the quote?
Yeah,
Almost.
You almost make me throw up in my mouth.
Almost, but it's one place that I gotta give you some flowers on, bro, that I've ate and I love.
What's that?
7 Spices is really like that. When you walk through the door, you would not think it's good because it smells like a,
The Mediterranean spot.
Yes.
it's bad.
That was the first
Through the
place I
door.
ate.
through
in
the
the
door.
city.
Awful, like grocery store
I was
part.
very confused.
I was like, it smells.
I
really
thought I was going on a trip through Narnia. I was going to get
That's
kidnapped.
exactly how I felt.
Immediately thought I was going to get kidnapped.
And then when I made it to the restaurant
Trusted you way too much, way too soon.
Hey, it's okay.
it started smelling better once I got to the restaurant part. So I was smelling like cooked food. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And then what I ordered was delicious.
It was fantastic, but yeah, I really
Sounds
thought I was
expensive.
going to get murdered.
It's not.
It's not.
It ain't.
And it's really good food. They give you a lot of food.
I got flank of
I'm
lamb.
doing it soon. You got lamb.
Yeah, it's
got a-
exciting.
Oh, almost definitely ain't on
it's
lamb.
it's a Greek grocery,
Okay.
and they got a whole restaurant in the
I'm
back
in
of the
on
store.
lamb and
I need to go back for the incense too.
what's the other? What's the little lollipop?
Lamb.
This lamb too.
Lamb.
Lamb chop. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I love it.
So listen, bro. I got a flank of lamb, and it came out. It looked like 11-ounce sirloin, but it was lamb. Ooh, bro. And first off, I couldn't even eat it all because I ain't been eating much every day. I couldn't even eat it all, bro. But when I
You
tell
look so
you,
happy.
it was amazing. And then I had the
I've
lentil
never
soup.
had bad lamb.
I put it like this. So they got the best lentil soup in the city, in my personal opinion.
That lentil soup was fire.
I have had
Yeah.
lentil soup.
I've heard that. Yeah.
I've had
I don't know what it
I've
is.
had lentil soup from probably 6 different places in this
It
city.
looked like baby food.
It is the best. But the thing I like about Seven Spice, like when I, because we done got a whole different topic. But the like they even if you get a sandwich combo, most of their sandwiches are like $10 and under. You get soup or side salad. Then you get a thing of grilled vegetables, rice, or French fries, plus the actual sandwich itself. It's like $10. Yeah, they ain't playing.
Like
Like
Seven
the,
Spices that?
On it's right next to Jason's Deli.
I know what that is.
Yeah,
I know that.
it's right there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going.
Just
But
go through
look,
Narnia.
I think
you
go
got
hard.
beeline.
We'll have to get on.
You got a beeline though.
I don't know what that means.
Open the door.
I got you.
Keep
Oh, I
walking.
want the experience, so I'm gonna go in slow.
You gonna be
I
by the
was
time you
very
make it halfway, you gonna be like, man, I don't know.
Oh, you definitely got lamb.
So he gonna make it.
I always call it in.
Oh, we went to set at 8.
I want the
We
full
sat at
experience.
8.
Yes, that.
You know
that
what I
was
did
the
get
time.
was the tea. I'm gonna get the tea the next time I go. When they bring you out the kettle, I gotta have that.
But I don't drink tea. I think anybody who drink tea is stupid.
What?
He don't like tea.
Tea is horrible.
That's how I feel about coffee.
Wait. Let me tell you something though. And then we gonna get out of here. We got to go. We way over time. But you brought in a great light. I appreciate it. He don't like tea. He don't like coffee. So
I drank coffee.
You drink
every
coffee?
morning. Every
when you
morning.
start drinking,
Every day.
I drank one. I drank it over now.
you ain't drinking.
You like bean water, but not leaf water.
So wait a
I'm the
minute.
other way
With
around.
sugar and creamer.
Don't-
Wait,
say
yeah,
anything.
it was more creamer and sugar than it was coffee.
Coffee.
So
It still tastes like mud in a cup, but okay.
I love
Tea
coffee.
tastes like collard green juice.
I love collard
What?
green juice. I would
I love
drink
collard
like
green
legit.
juice.
I would drink collard green juice. It's delicious. And I won't because I care about my arteries, but I think collard green juice is just delicious, bro. Honestly, I love collard greens. Anyway, so I'm asking him how I drink coffee every morning. So I drink my coffee black. I can't drink coffee no more. Other reasons, but I'm like, drink coffee every morning, bro. He's like, bro, stop talking to me about what I drink every morning. This is what I drink. This is my coffee in the morning. Bro was walking in with the RT44 cup full of like Coke, a Sunkiss, a Sprite.
That's my coffee.
He stopped every day and got a 2 liter of soda and drunk that for breakfast. And then tried to figure out how he got diabetes.
Ain't got that many.
When you had it, you just trying to figure out how you
I
got
don't
it.
remember. It's just a memory on Facebook.
Oh, y'all funny.
Take us out, man.
Matt Haig said mental health problems don't define who you are. They are something you experience. You walk in the rain and you feel the rain, but you are not the rain. That's our quote of the week.
I like it.
For the South, this is episode 153. Thank you to our special guest, Ariel.
Please, can't wait to have you back again.
Y'all see me again.
We gonna you gonna try to start charging us rates for how often you gonna get invited.
I mean, if you want to put it out there, I'm not gonna turn it down.
No, we
Yeah, I figure
we not gonna want to pay
That's
no
what I
rates.
That's
figured.
funny.
But we gonna invite you enough. You gonna be like, look.
Hey, real quick, anybody who's looking for help, who needs somebody to talk to, we have a specialist right here on the couch. Don't be ashamed to hit the South Got Something to Say. We'll connect y'all.
That's actually what I was about to say. If y'all go to the South Got Something to Say page, look for the promo that we had for this episode. Her BetterHelp link is attached to the promo on our Facebook page.
That makes sense.
So go to if you're watching this right now from our page. If you're looking for a therapist, all information is right there on the page. So
And use our promo code THASOUF. It ain't gonna get you nothing off, but it's gonna be cool for y'all to type.
And it may
But
get
the
us a
cool
discount
thing
one
about
day.
it is, I actually do have. I think they're still doing it where there was a code to get a free month, if you refer. So I'm gonna double check that, and anybody you connect me with, I can pass that along.
Sweet.
Hey, real quick before we get here, R.I.P. to Tina Turner.
oh,
R.I.P. to Tina Turner. I genuinely didn't think that woman could die. So I was actually extremely disappointed that she passed. I just didn't think it. You know.
Thank you.
She was superhuman to me.
thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to send love, peace, and prayers to Carla Lett, to the Lett family, and to literally everybody that James Lett touched, aka FBJ, Fat Bastard J, met an untimely demise a few days ago. That young brother was 29 years old.
Okay.
Staple in the hip hop community here.
Real quick.
So, you know, I just wanted to make sure that we pay that respect to you and to your family, to the city of Mobile, surrounding areas, and to our hip hop family and community. We feel y'all, we with y'all, we praying with y'all, we are here. So definitely want to send that to y'all too.
All right, one more time. I wasn't finished with my RPs. Yeah, it's been crazy. RP to Mario and Atmo. I met the young brother quite a few times. I don't know what happened, and I don't care. So anybody got to inbox me and say nothing. I don't care. I know he was too young to die. You know what I mean? So that's all I care about. And I pray for Wiley to come out safe. And no, y'all don't inbox me about nothing. I don't care what happened. I still know that 2 people got shot. One of them died and one of them in critical condition. And I'm praying for the one that's in critical condition. I'm praying for the family of the one who passed. That's all I care about. Atmo. RIP to Mario. Yeah, that happened this weekend too.
We out.
All right, this is Soft Got Something to Say, episode 153. We out.